Sometimes it seems as simple as a new way of spending the day, a new way of being, a new way of loving, a new way of worshiping, a new way of playing, a new way of doing our serious work. What is our work? What is to be accomplished? Every day, I realize that I'm moving quite drastically, in some sense, away from any kind of relativistic approach, not to philosophy or religion, but to my actual life. And when you start to function, when you start to live with wisdom and knowledge of the absolute, and you start to delete relative concepts. Well, you start to delete relativity, but you also start to delete concepts. So what are we trying to do? Yes, I think that part of it's just very pragmatic. We just want to live differently. Sometimes I feel like I'm really checking out of this system. Like actually checking out. And it makes me feel, well, great. I mean, I feel great. I feel so powerful. But I also feel lost. Because you see, without concepts and without relative understanding, then you only have one thing. You don't even have it. You become very free in that one thing. It's some process, I think, of ego annihilation. But I also feel extremely egoic. Egoic, I hate that word. I feel like the coolest motherfucker that ever lived, basically. But at the same time, I have no ego. You see? Hey, Matt. I'm tired of your philosophy, man. I'm tired of all the words you use. Maybe I missed a couple videos in there where you're speaking from your heart of hearts. Apply that philosophy to your life. Those words don't exist, brother. Those concepts don't exist. Those philosophers don't matter. There's one thing to be known. And that is the knower, the known, and the process are all the same thing. I know you know this, but I want to see it in your heart, brother. I want you to tell me what your life is like. There's no argument. There's no discussion, you see. I'm quite extreme in this position. Because it's the truth. There's nothing to be figured out. There's nothing to be debated. There's no debate. Man, there's no debate. I just was thinking that earlier, that I really want to, like, in a positive way. I hope that doesn't sound negative to you. Like, in a positive way, I want to know who you are behind, beyond, without the concepts. Sometimes I feel like I'm falling. Sometimes I feel like I'm floating. And every time I feel lost, and what I mean by lost is like with no harbor, with no conceptual egoic harbor to define myself from. And then I feel this tendency to reach for one. Like, this is me now. Then I have to let that go. In some way, I'm just a lazy piece of shit. Like, I don't do anything, but there's nothing to do, you see. So, our family, is forming. But what are we trying to do? I do think part of it is just a new way of living. Just a new way of being. Just literally a new way to wake up in the morning. Maybe it's not so new, but maybe our application of it to our lives en masse will be something new, something needed. Do we want to live in this system? Or do we want to create our own? What's our intention? It seems that a global family will be based on similar values, similar goals. A mutual sense of purpose. I want no purpose in this world except for the one thing that is. There is nothing to be discussed. Yet we can talk, and we are. There's no argument. There's nothing to be figured out. Things are not relative. They are if you want them to be. But one who accepts, lives by, indulges in the relative is reborn. My knowledge is of the absolute. And in that knowledge is my power, my salvation, my freedom, and my joy. I love you all. I feel very fortunate to know you all. But let's let the arguments go. And I don't mean necessarily like we're fighting. What I mean is that there are no concepts. There's no thing called gravity. Do you see what I'm saying? Concept is relative, is birth, which is death, which is suffering.